So it's hard to believe when I think back that Dr. King's holiday was first observed on back in '85. It was like amazing. The day was first became prominent in '86, but '85 was when it was first observed. It was signed into law back in '83 by Ronald Reagan. There was a lot of begrudgment. Some states, including Arizona, were late to the party, and there was a lot of tension with that. A lot of people didn't want to acknowledge him. And to this day, there's still how they mismatch how they talk about Dr. King, when you think about it, because the truth of the matter is he's probably the most important grassroots person, non politician, to walk on the surface that's been acknowledged because he was a true humanitarian and changed the course of history. And some people are going to downplay it and get into his personal life and say all this and that, but they can't deny the impact he had. They can't deny the trajectory he had, and they can't deny that he represented something that most of them never had, and sometimes the content of character and where they were, because none of these politicians have ever leveled up to him. But he's still the most quoted. He's the most sampled. He's the most want to be duplicated, and all kinds of craziness I've heard about 2.0 Dr. King and all kinds of craziness that people have misused. But being around when it was officially, and still hearing the early stages of Happy Birthday to You, Stevie Wonder's tribute song, and how it was, it still hits because it wasn't that long ago. People might look at it from a time point now and think, okay, well, that was then and what have you. But at that stage, it was still the nuance of it, the newness of it, the way it was done and feel. It was still like people were resenting it, still had conflict with it, had some strange kind of thoughts about it. So it was glad that it finally came to be, and it was needed to be, but because of what he sacrificed and what he gave, that's the ultimate. When you are willing to put your life and what you say and your actions on the line, you can't even argue against common sense and clarity. So it was definitely something that bestowed that you want to definitely take upon to explore and to understand what it was like and see a country when this was, when you think about it, was 20 years removed when it was officially said in the law. 20 years from I Have a Dream speech, but the 1964 act, 21 years after the 64 act, 22 years after that became official holiday, everything he stood for, the civil rights movement and all of everything in totality. And I think that's the least Reagan and them could do, because he made it a statement. He became a way of life. And so I think that you got to give it up to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and remembering the totality of that particular significance. So 85 was the first time it was actually observed. In 86 it became established as a holiday, but it took a long time, took a lot of people battling to make that day an official holiday. So wanted to take time just talking about it in light of the times and everything, uh, with everything that happened. Ironically, that's the date, but we're not talking about that in terms of his passing, but we're just using that as that particular date. So putting that out there in context, and how it means so much. Gotta respect the fight, gotta respect to know where you came from, to know where you're going. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another, and share if you like, and hit that membership, because when you do video or requests like this come true, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.